Hello, everyone, and welcome back to We Need to Talk About This. I'm your host, Chuck Oliveris. This is episode 28. We're about a day late on this one because we had some technical difficulties yesterday, but here we are. We're back. This is episode 28. I've got some stuff for you this week that we're going to talk about. And, of course, upcoming podcasts. Cousin Matto will be back on from the Matto Bar up in Sacramento. At some point in the next couple months, we'll make a little visit to that bar, and we'll actually do the podcast live from the bar with Cousin Matto. But he'll be back, and it should be a good time. It always is with him. We did have one email come back. If you saw the podcast, we were talking about people who had pooped their pants and if they wanted to share their stories, to email us, and we wouldn't share their name and all that kind of stuff. It just so happens I received one email, and the funny thing is, it's a family member of mine. So as you can see, my family obviously poops their pants a lot. We'll share that on a future podcast with Cousin Matto when we get to it. But at the top of the podcast this week, I kind of wanted to share something interesting with you. I found this thing on the internet that they were asking people some financial stuff. Things they asked people, what's the worst financial decision you ever made and things like that. And they kind of shared their stories. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to just share those stories with you and stuff and see what some of these people went through and stuff. So we'll just start out at the top of the podcast with that. So they ask, what's the worst financial decision you've ever made and what did you learn from it? These are individuals who are still haunted by their money missteps and were more than willing to share their stories. The person says, I knew I had to share some of the most insightful responses, from pets medical care to overlooking tax forms. Here are some of the biggest financial regrets. So let's look at the first guy. The first guy here wants to tell us his story. He says he once had a job with a startup, and the owner gave him unrealistic goals, told him that if he hit them, he'd make it worth his while. He had nothing else going on, so he said, okay, I'll take that chance. He was salaried, so he was only being paid for 40 hours a week while working 60 plus hours per week for about a year. So then he says, he hit the goals, and surprisingly, he followed through by giving the guy a huge under-the-table bonus. It was far more than he would have made if he had simply paid the guy overtime. The guy says he told me I should buy a house with the money because it was certainly enough for a down payment, and interest rates were really low at that time. What did I do with the money? The guy says he bought his dream car. He bought a 1970 Dodge Challenger. Now, don't get me wrong, the guy says, I love that car. But he says houses now cost double what they did. And when I had the chance to buy one, I would kick myself in the ass. So basically, he got the big payoff from the dude, but then he bought his dream car, and he could have bought a house. So he was kind of not too smart there, and he will never regret that. Another person here shares their story, says, paying for insurance but not following through on the claims. Before my honeymoon, I bought a trip insurance, which turned out to be lucky because I had a medical incident and I couldn't go. So I called the company to check and see if I was covered. They told me I was, and to follow up with them in a few weeks, and for some reason, I never called them back. That was $5,000 down the drain. Now I follow up on both of my insurance claims and anything else that I might get my money back, warranties, refunds, etc. I refuse to leave money on the table out of laziness and convenience. So it's just stupid decisions, right? Not making the right choices and stuff. And sometimes they're little things, but then they come back to bite you in the ass because you're like, oh my God, what did I lose? It makes me think about they're always promoting that website that you put your name in there and you may be owed money. You just put in all your former addresses and things like that. And then they search it and see if you're ever owed money from somebody. I really want to do that. But my problem is I never remember all my last addresses. I'm old. I don't remember every address. I remember the address of the house I grew up in. I remember my grandmother's address and things like that, but I don't remember my own damn addresses from the time I was like out on my own until present time. So, but I'd still like to see, because sometimes you have money there and you don't know it. Also, if you notice, my voice is a little weird. The allergies up here in my area right now are so bad. I didn't sleep well last night, and I kept waking up blowing my nose. It's been miserable. And I don't typically, in my life, I have not had allergies prior to this. Dalton has them, and he's kind of suffered from that. But it's been really bad. So I'm kind of cracky tonight and stuff like that, but we'll continue on. Next story is right here. Loaning money to a family member. Oh my God, this is a good one, you guys. Look at this. So, loaning money to a family member when they were in tough situations. It happened repeatedly. The debt piled up. They got back on their feet, and I asked them about paying me back. They would always say, soon. Dude, we've been here, right? Years later, I found myself in a tough situation, so they gave me a loan. Shortly after they gave me the money, they wanted to know how I planned on paying them back. When I mentioned that they owed me, when I mentioned that they owed me 10 times the amount I owed them, they went to another family member and made a big deal out of it, because I became the villain in the family and eventually paid them half of what I owed and cut ties. So has this ever happened to you, right? Family, it happens. It definitely happens, You loan them money. I think it's hilarious because the guy's like, okay, then he got in a rough spot. They loaned him money. Well, when are you going to pay us back? Bitch, you owe me money, And I think everybody's been in that boat before. You really have to be careful with the money thing, right? And it's not like anybody has all that money anymore. The only people with money now are Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And it's just crazy. So that's kind of sucks. So I like that one, the family one, because everybody's been in that situation before. Let's look at the next story. The guy says, instead of starting my second year of college, I decided to drain my bank account to buy my now ex-fiance a car. He swore he'd pay me back and that he needed the money to buy the car before someone else did. He only ever paid me back $200, and our relationship ended in a few months after the car was purchased. I nearly ended up on the streets, had to put off college for a few more years, and eventually filed a restraining order against the dude. It's been almost 17 years, and I still regret every second of that relationship. Okay, that's funny. You don't do that, right? Well, I mean, she was probably thinking it was all cool. She was all in love with him and everything, and then she loaned him the money, and then look, she ended up having to get a restraining order against him. Hey, guess what? I've also been there. Not too cool. Our last financial story here. Let's see what it says here. Oh, yeah. See, the IRS now thinks I owe taxes on the sale of a property, even though I just handed it over because I was ready to be finished with that whole situation. Last time I checked, the IRS wanted over $100K from me, even though I made nothing on the sale of my house. Now I have to go to a CPA. My tax guy has delayed them and tried, not very hard, admittedly, to get a tax advocate to correct the problem. Almost 9 years later, they have kept every refund, and I still have this hanging over my head. The IRS has not waived a thing. All because of one form that wasn't filled out. It says they lost their house, all the money that they put into it, and now he's paying twice as much in rent as he did with the house payments, and doesn't have a dime because of one form. Those are horror stories, man. I'm telling you. But all of us have been in a situation in our life where you probably did something with some money. You came into a little bit of it. And it's kind of hard when we're not used to having a couple bucks. You go and you buy your dream car like that guy did. Or the one form thing, though, with the IRS is that's an interesting one, because it's just sometimes one little thing. And look how many years that guy's been paying for that, and he's never getting his refunds. So Those are kind of horror stories. I thought we'd share those because at some time in our life, everybody has made the wrong decision or not had the right form or not done this or that. And I'm sure somebody has a story about that. If you've got a good one, go ahead and email it to me and I'll bring it up and we'll talk about it on here. But it's just a sucky thing to happen all around, I think, anyway. Yeah, we're going to jump right now into some pop music because we haven't done it a little bit. So let's do it. There's a lot of stuff in the pop news today. And we're going to talk about it. So in pop news, we've got some stuff going on here. First of all, this was very cool. Wanted to share it with all of you guys. One of my favorite country singers of all, Mr. Luke Combs, got his star in Nashville. They have their own walk of fame over there kind of thing. And there's a little thing on his Instagram here he shared with his wife, and he's down there with his star and the cement there. And he says, when I moved from North Carolina to Nashville, I had no idea what the future held for me there. I only hoped I could do enough in country music, to pay my bills. It was never about anything else. Well, I love Luke Combs. I'm glad Luke got his star on that country walk of fame there in Nashville. And he's just one of my favorite country singers. The guy's got a voice that's unbelievable. And every time I hear a song from his, I usually end up trying to learn it. And then I do it on my karaoke night or whatever we have at the bar down there. Something I saw recently, y'all remember George Lopez, the comedian. So I worked at Warner Brothers, as most of you know, because I've discussed it on the podcast. And he had the George Lopez show. And so I used to see him all the time. He was very nice at that time. This was a couple years ago, right? It was a sitcom he had. But recently on the Jennifer Hudson variety show that she has, talk show during the day, they have a thing where they share it on Instagram when they open the show all the time and they announce the guests. They show the guests coming from the dressing room, and then the staff from the show lines up and they dance. And then the star or the celebrity, whoever's going to be on the show, dances their way right past all the people out to the stage to be a guest on the show. So George Lopez is back. He's out traveling around, doing comedy again and stuff. I saw a little clip on Instagram of him coming out of that dressing room on the Jennifer Hudson show. And I was like, oh my God, you guys look at this. For those of you on Spotify and iHeart, it's George Lopez dancing down the hallway, making his way to the stage, but you would not recognize him. He does not look like he looked when he had the sitcom. I'm like, what is going on with George Lopez? He's obviously all gray with the beard and everything, and then he's got the crazy long hair. I mean, he looks freaky. If I saw this guy on the corner in New York, I'd be like, he's got to be a homeless dude looking for food or something. I mean, what happened to him? The guy's got money. He had a pretty lucrative career, a pretty popular sitcom. I don't know why he's let himself go like that. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I got to share this because this is just nuts. He just doesn't look the same at all. Okay, we're going to move on to something here. I got to talk about this because Netflix has a series, 4-part series. Everybody's talking about this series. So I told Dalton, I says, let's watch this. I keep seeing it. It's blowing up on social media. Everybody's talking about it. It's a UK production of a series called Adolescence. Now, some of you probably already heard, but maybe you haven't watched it yet. What I want you to do is just listen to this trailer of it real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit more about why this show is incredibly unbelievable. Listen to this for a minute here.
What are you looking for? You're making a big mistake. He's only a kid.
Dad, I haven't done anything.
He's a good kid. Jamie, I want you to listen carefully.
What's going on?
I'm going to start off with asking you.
Do you know a girl called Katie Leonard? Yeah? Describe each other as friends then.
Is she dead then?
Why would you ask her?
Man, I'm telling you guys, you got to watch this if you haven't watched it yet. There's a couple things about it. There's a million things about it that are amazing. Number one is the cast. It's a 4-part series, so there's only 4 episodes. But if you watch it and you start the first one, it will pull you right in. You will be glued to it, and you will have to finish all 4 of them right then. We did this, and Dalton actually said that the series made him very anxious. He started getting a lot of anxiety while watching it. It's a pretty heavy subject, and it is also just tense as hell. So it's called Adolescence, and here's the kind of story on it here. Oh, that was the guy. Sorry, that's not it. The story on this thing was that this kid, 13 years old at the time, stabbed a classmate in the schoolyard to death. And he's just a very, very young child. So it was kind of interesting, but they were kind of, in fact, where is it? Let me see if I can find it. I want to read you what this guy said. So Stephen Graham is the guy that plays the father on this series. And it's an unbelievable cast. Almost every single person who acted in this thing was amazing. And I want to tell you what it's kind of about. So it might have only dropped a few days ago, but it feels like everyone in the country has watched it or is now talking about it. It's totally justified. It's on Netflix, and it's absolutely incredible. With a powerful storyline and immerse one-shot filming. So what that means is there's no take, cut, let's start over, this and that. It's one shot. So they did something incredible that they hadn't done before. Stephen Graham, who is the father in the film, is actually the producer and writer of the film. And he did this one-shot filming. The show stars him, and he's co-written it and created it with another guy. Unsurprisingly, the 4-part series has led to him being praised as one of the greatest actors ever. He's a hell of an actor. You've probably seen him in Band of Brothers and some other stuff. He's a UK actor. They all are in this film. But this film is really heavy, and it's one shot. So they're filming, and they continuously film the whole thing at one time. They don't cut. They don't break from anything. So when they come and get the kid for the murder in the house at the beginning of the show, and they take him out the front door and put him in the van, the camera goes in the van with him. You ride with the camera. He goes to jail. You go to the jail with him. The camera follows him into the interrogation. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I wanted to talk about it because it's kind of a heavy subject. And they asked Stephen Graham, the father, and they said, hey, dude, why did you want to make this film so bad? And basically he told the story and kind of shared, why he wanted to do this film. This is Stephen Graham here. If you're watching YouTube, and they're saying it's the closest thing to TV perfection in decades. I mean, they have not stopped talking about this thing. So when they asked him, why he wanted to do this film, he said there was an incident where a young boy allegedly stabbed a girl. He told Netflix, it shocked me. I was thinking, what's going on? What's happening in society where a boy stabs a girl to death? What's the inciting incident here? Right? And then he said it happened again, and then it happened again. And he said, I really just wanted to shine a light on it and ask, why is this happening today? What's going on? How have we come to this? It's a pretty heavy subject matter. The series has taken the world by storm, shining a light on real life dangers of toxic masculinity and young men being influenced by harmful ideologies online. The series has received universal acclaim not only for the issue it addresses, but also the filmmaking, with all 4 episodes being shot in one take. It's especially incredible when you consider that Owen Cooper was 13 years old when he shot this. I think he's 15 now. The kid had never, ever acted in his life. And he came in, they auditioned him with some other boys that were pretty close to getting it, but he just stole it. And, Stephen Graham said this kid was just unbelievable. And he said he just came in and he played Jamie. And Jamie is the character name there. This is what he looks like here if you're watching YouTube. Very, very heavy. And this kid had some dialogue. So when you consider the fact that it's a one shot, one thing, all at one time, instead of cut, everybody reset. We're going into the bedroom now. We're going into the jail. They didn't do that. The camera just moves with them through the whole thing, the entire episode. So super interesting. So cameramen are passing off handheld cameras to each other, which we can't see in the background. If you go to YouTube, you can actually see how they did that. I did it the other day because I'm obsessed with this story and this film, because I was just blown away by it, and Dalton was too. We were just like, and we've told everybody about it. But that kid, little Cooper here, Owen Cooper, 13 years old, never acted in his life, so he had to do dialogue. And I'm talking to you guys, there is some intense dialogue throughout this thing with this kid, and he's trying to convince his dad that he didn't do it. The police, the actors that play the police people in it that are interrogating him about the murder and stuff. And the interesting thing is, when you're watching it and you're watching the kid, when they first take him in, it's pretty aggressive. They take a batarang and bash in the front door, and it's just a normal family, chilling in their house. And they're like, what's going on? I mean, you heard the trailer. It's pretty aggressive. And from that point on, you're just like watching this thing, and it just pulls you and takes you through the 4 episodes. And the whole time I wanted to know that the kid didn't do this. He just didn't seem like the kind of kid who would stab another girl. But the whole story on this thing is that she rejected him. He felt ugly because she rejected him. Then all the other boys in school were making fun of him, and they were using social media, particularly Instagram, to kind of torture him. And which is why Stephen Graham wanted to make the film. But I'm telling you guys, it's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen on film. And it's hard to steer away from it. I'm pulling up a picture right now of Owen Cooper here playing Jamie. This is in the interrogation, well, actually in a room in the police station, when they bring in a psychologist to kind of assess him. Here's what I want to tell you about her. Her name is Erin Doherty. She is an amazing UK actress. I have never seen anybody so good. I swear to God, when you watch it, you're going to see what I mean. And it wasn't really just her. It was the entire cast of the film. The mom, the sister, the police officers, everybody on film in this little 4-part series is freaking amazing. But her in particular, Erin, wow. She has to do a whole episode, one shot with the kid, where she's questioning him in this room. And this little kid, Owen Cooper, who played this Jamie kid, had to remember all his lines. And plus, he is just super animated and goes through all these feelings and all these things during the film. And in that particular scene, the back and forth is just him and her. And it is nuts. It is completely nuts. And even at that point, I just wanted to be like, he didn't really do it, right? They're going to tell us he didn't do it. I don't want to tell you too much about it, because if you haven't seen it yet, I don't want to tell you how it ends. But it has been poking at me since I saw it, and now it's all over social media. Stephen Graham's appearing on everything, talking about it, how they shot it, how amazed he was that this little kid pulled this part off the way he did, especially for a little kid who had never acted ever before in his life. I'm showing a picture right here. It's really heavy, you guys. I'm not going to lie. It's heavy and it's tense, and there's a little bit of anxiety to it because of the subject matter, but the acting and the way they shot it is what really pulls you in. In this picture I'm showing right now, it shows him, the father, with the kid in the police interrogation room, and the police have just shown him a CCTV video of the incident with the kid doing it. But even when they showed that, I thought, well, that's just video footage, but in the end, it's not going to be him. Well, he definitely did kill her, but just watching the kid through the episode, you're like, no way this kid did this. And you still keep telling yourself that he didn't do it. What touched me in this scene was the acting between Stephen Graham and this little Owen Cooper kid. The kid's crying. He's telling him, Dad, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And this and that. But the father has just watched the CCTV video that the police have shown him. And he is just sitting in the chair next to his son. And the young boy reaches out to touch his father's shoulder. And the father pulls away and turns around. And dude, it just breaks your heart. I mean, it is the best thing I've seen on television in years. So when they're saying that on social media and all that, when you see it, they're not lying. I mean, this thing is just, man. I can't go on about it enough. I'll show you a quick shot of a couple little things. They had a question and answer thing on Netflix for the UK and Ireland shoot there, and talking about the way they shot it and how they passed the cameras off and stuff. But again, it's just like one of those things. It's like, it's unbelievable. And Stephen Graham, again, is the lead guy, the creator and all that stuff. And you've probably seen him on some shows. But it's called Adolescence. It's on Netflix. It's still streaming. It's only a 4-part series, but you're going to hear about this film for a long time. You're going to see awards given to those actors, because I've never seen a group of actors that were involved in a production like this. And I'm a movie and TV buff, who were so damn good, especially doing something that nobody's ever done before, which is just a one shot. We're rolling camera and we're going to do the whole episode without stopping. And we're going to move with everybody in time. He tells the story. Stephen Graham, the creator, says they actually built little models of each location they were going to be shooting in. And they used little toy people or whatever, just to kind of map everything out. It had to be perfect, because if anything was messed up, you had to start all over again from the beginning, crashing in the front door at the beginning and grabbing the kid out of his room. You know, the kid wets his pants. I mean, you guys, you got to check it out. Again, it's called Adolescence. It is streaming on Netflix, starring Stephen Graham, Aaron Doherty, and Owen Cooper. And I guarantee it will change your life a little bit, because it did mine. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Great, great film. And like I said, I guarantee you're going to be hearing about it a lot more. Also in pop news, before I do that, I wanted to tell you, this is what they suggest. It brought up a lot of feelings for people and parents after watching that series about social media and about, first of all, there's a scene, you guys, at the end of the movie, and I don't want to ruin anything for you, but there's a scene where the father's coming to terms with what's actually happened to his son and what he could have done or couldn't have done to maybe have stopped it. What they're recommending for people with children is monitor the WhatsApp groups, check their internet history, scroll through their social media, because protecting children as they navigate technology and life online absolutely outweighs their right to privacy. And I think that's said very well, because dude, it's just it's nuts. Yeah. So check that out. And if you'd like, send me an email after you watch it and tell me your thoughts and feelings, what you felt, because I'm telling you, it's like nothing we have ever watched before. So yeah, very interesting. I didn't meme it. It's that time again. We've got some new memes that are kind of funny, and we're going to go into those real quick, because I was cracking up when I found some of these. I didn't meme them, but I found them. So we're going to start with this. It says, I'm going to start a vibrator repair service, and I'm going to call it Inspector Gadget. I know. And then I would have like the little Inspector Gadget, right there on the logo or whatever for your card and stuff like that. The next meme is kind of funny. I believe Cousin Matto sent me this one, and it was cracking me up. For those of you that can't see it, it says, If y'all see anything besides plastic Easter eggs, take your ass to church on Sunday. And what it is a bunch of little plastic Easter eggs in bright different colors, yellow, pink, green, purple, and flesh colored. But they're halves of eggs, and they're stacked and wrapped in plastic, but they literally look like big, long dildos. So, I know. But if you were to glance at that real quick, you'd be like, whoa, what store did I come into? So if you saw anything else, not cool. I thought this meme was kind of funny. It's showing a picture of a guy looking at a resume, and then it says, my boss looking at my negative drug test results. And then he's frowning, and then he looks up at the guy and he said, so you're just weird. You're like, oh, I'm looking at your drug screen. Oh, it's clear. So you're just a weirdo. I think I know a few people that might fit into that category. Our next meme says, hey, sorry I didn't text you back. I've been having a bad day since I was about 12. Dude, I have so many friends like that. You know damn well when you text your friend, everybody's got their freaking phone in their hand 24/7. That's the way of the world now. You know damn well that's the case. Nobody does anything without their phone. So, if you text someone and they don't answer you back, I'll give them shit. I'll text them and go, I know you've seen this bitch. You better get back to me. Don't make me come over there. This one's a little bit lighter. It's the thing everyone always says when something's going wrong. This too shall pass. And then the rest of it says, and then some other bullshit will come and take its place. It never fucking ends. Is there no more truth to anything than that, right? Because people always tell me, oh, dude, this too will pass. I'm like, shut up. You know damn well there's just more coming, right? So I like that one. That one fits life, I think. Here's something super interesting. Look at this. The webcam was invented by 3 researchers who wanted to check the coffee pot level remotely without having to walk into the break room. I did not know this. I think it's super interesting. It's probably like 3 smart guys that were like sitting in a room and they worked on stuff for hours. And they're like, hey, if we can find a way to put a cam to watch the coffee pot, then we'll know when the coffee's done and all that. So that's how the webcam was invented, by these 3 researchers who wanted to see their coffee pot in the break room. It's weird how things like that happen, right? And you would never know it. I think it's in Sweden. Sweden has some bread there, and it has a very unique name. I know you're cracking me here. So it's a loaf of bread. I can't even say the actual company or whatever that makes it, but it says, oh, it's Finland. Finland has the world's most unfortunately named bread, and the bread is called Juicy Pussy. Yes. JUSSIPUSSI. And there's a loaf of the bread there, Juicy Pussy. And you can pick that up in Finland. I think I might order that and maybe do a new product tasting and just see. I don't know. The next one says, adult friendships are like, I miss you. Let's hang out in May. Dude, that's so real. My friend Lisa and me do this all the time. Like texting back and forth. I love you. I miss you. But let's do lunch next week, or let's do this. We got to get together. We got to sing karaoke. We got to learn some new duets and stuff. I'll see you in December. I mean, it's just so hard for people to actually, or some of us anyway, to actually make that happen. I'm lucky if I can get my best friend to come out and meet me, once every 2 months or something. The cool thing is, though, when he does, it makes me happy, man. So I'm all right with that. Next meme says, just got my electric bill. I believe I got charged for the sunlight, the moonlight, the street light, the light of my life, speed of light, and the light at the end of the tunnel. Right? You get your electric bill. Last year we had enormous heat waves here, and our electric bill was extremely, extremely high. And that's what that made me think of. Excuse me, I think I got charged for the sunlight and the moonlight, the street light out front, the light of my life, the speed of light, and the light at the end of the tunnel. That cracked me up. This one is kind of dirty, but it's kind of funny. And so I have to share it with you. For those of you on Spotify and iHeart, I'm showing a little picture of a girl with a big old frown on her face. And it says, "Stop spraying perfume on your vagina. Take a shower. Out here smelling like Victoria's seafood." It's just bad. It's just bad, you guys. Oh, God. Like, take a shower, bitch. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with her? I don't know. I love that one, though. Let's see what we got here. We got "You Can't Make This Shit Up." That's what we're into now, and we're going to move into that. So there are certain things happening in the world today. As you all know, you're living in it with us and me. And you just can't make some of this stuff up. Part of it is the Trump administration and everything that's going on. It's just nuts, crazy, wacko. The more stuff I hear, it's like the crazier it gets, right? Like, I see stuff and I think, has anyone tried unplugging the United States and plugging it back in again? You know, maybe that might work, right? But it's like crazy. I read some of this stuff and it's like, okay, I'm going to throw these glasses away because I've seen enough. That's what I think when I see some of this stuff. Or I watch the morning news. Very hard to watch the news and stuff. So most recently this week, you know, that one of those dudes messed up and sent out a war plan that Donald Trump was putting together, and it went out on a group text on accident. That bimbo, one of the millions of bimbos that he's put into his administration in positions. And you got all these people running stuff that have no idea what they're doing. And I find it very hard for anyone to sit there and argue and say, "Oh, no, they're doing a great job." Are they really? Or are you stupid too? Because you must be, right? There was this whole thing, right? You're fired. Wait, you're rehired. Email us a list of things you've done today. Wait, forget it. You're fired again. Come back. Your job was important. You're fired or hired. Come into the office. Wait, the office has no more computers. Go home. We are the Department of Government Efficiency. What do you want me to say about that? I mean, you're seeing it, you're hearing it, we're living it, and it's driving me freaking batty. It's like the tariff thing. Anybody can go back and research the tariff thing. You can go back. There's a great speech Ronald Reagan gave about tariffs during his term. And he was talking about how they only work for a little while, but in the end, we end up suffering for them the most. And the whole tariff thing, right? It's like, how do the rich get richer? Announce tariffs, stock market drops. Billionaires buy lots of stock. Immediately roll back tariffs. Stock market rebounds. Do you see the pattern now? So when you think about these things, he keeps putting them on everybody and then jacking them up, doing this, doing that. Then that country comes back and says, "Well, fuck you. We're going to do this. And we ain't afraid of you," which I kind of dig, because these are people that were our allies for years. And some of them should have been kept, you know, in a sacred place within for the United States, like they always were. So to go in and just start screwing them with them like that is just, it drives me nuts. I did find a little poem, though. I think I find this interesting. So this little poem here is about Donnie. It says, "Today's limerick. There once was a man with no plan. He assured us through his fake tan. Oh, you just wait. Things will be great. Just like the casinos I ran." Well, it's true. It's preposterous what's going on. I can barely absorb it when I watch it every day and stuff. Some of it makes me very, very angry, and some of it makes me just want to hurry up and die. It's just too much. For instance, I told you guys in a couple podcasts ago, just pay attention. That's all I want people to do, is pay attention. And the more and more that I see, and the things that don't make sense, because they just don't, period, There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, look at this. Conor McGregor, right? MMA star found guilty of rape. He gets to visit the White House as a guest of Donald Trump on St. Patrick's Day. Now, everybody saw this. You just got to say to yourself, the fuck's going on, right? Our president of our country. Oh, bring the rapist in. And there's something else I want to bring up real quick that's been bothering me. Elon Musk is over on Joe Rogan talking about naming people. Actually, he named 3 names of people that were on Epstein's list. First of all, I'm going to tell y'all something right now. You're stupid as hell if you don't know that Donald Trump should have been on that list. Actually, he was on the list. They're just not going to tell you that. And many more. Because there's 1,000 pictures of Donald Trump with his arm around Epstein, and they're hanging out at the island and all kinds of shit. So I just think it's funny how he can name these people. Elon names these people. And it's like, they were all there. I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk was on the fucking island. He's a weirdo anyway. I don't know what he was doing. In my book, all of this is bullshit. So I'm showing a picture right now of a big ass bull on a toilet taking a shit. Yeah, that's what I think. Say what you want. I don't care. When the whole world goes to shit here soon, it already kind of has, but when it gets really bad and we're all kind of fending for ourselves, I've already purchased my truck. This is what I'm going to be driving right here, like fucking Mad Max and Thunderdome, loaded up with ammunition, guns, bazookas. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I just think it's funny because I start thinking about this stuff and I'm like, dude, it is really unreal that the only person Trump ever hired who was actually qualified to do their job was Stormy Daniels. Yes. Funny, but not funny, right? She's the only one who's actually qualified to do the job that he was having her do there. And I saw this other meme, and it was like, this entire presidency is like being tied to a chair and watching a toddler play with a loaded pistol. I can't say anything better than that, because that's exactly how I feel as I watch this whole thing go down. I just can't. I can't. There's this kid. He's like a teenager, but he's super smart, right? And he is an excellent debater. And he's on Instagram, and I follow him. And I love watching that kid because he's got these Trump people, these voters that voted for Trump, challenging the different things that he's saying don't make sense and stuff, you know, like I'm talking about here and stuff. But he really nails all of them every single time. And I can't look away from it because the kid is so smart. He stops them in their tracks. And at one point they just hang up, or they end the interview because they realize they don't know what they're talking about. They're just in love with the fact that they believe this guy, you know, and it's just nuts. Hey, it's time for a Did You Know? This caught me off guard a little bit because I didn't know this, but it's a quick little story. And it basically says that in 2001, a 13-year-old Boy Scout went missing in Yellowstone Park for over 18 hours. He used his belt buckle to reflect sunlight and signal passing planes. Did you know that his signal was spotted by Harrison Ford, the actor? How crazy is that? 2001, 13-year-old boy missing in Yellowstone, used his belt buckle for reflection, and Harrison Ford is the one who spots him. I didn't know that. I never knew that. I thought that was pretty freaking cool. I mean, Indiana Jones, right? I mean, hey, that's pretty cool if you ask me. What's the other thing we got here? Oh, here you go, guys. So here's the joke of the day. A nurse walks into a bank totally exhausted after an 18-hour shift. She grabs a deposit slip, pulls a rectal thermometer out of her purse, and tries to write with it. When she realizes her mistake, she looks flabbergasted at the teller and without missing a beat says, "Well, that's just great. Some asshole's got my pen." You know you love it. That's a good one. That's like the best joke I've heard in a while. So I just had to share that one with you. That's a good one. I'm going to have to keep that in my head so I can share that. Hey, before we leave this week, real quick, I just want to pay tribute to the great George Foreman. As you know, he passed away. He was born in 1949, passed away in 2025, obviously, just recently. What an incredible man he was. George Foreman, man, for me, I grew up with Foreman. He was an amazing man if you know a lot about his life and stuff. Entrepreneur, great fighter, fought Muhammad Ali. And you guys remember he came back after like 9 or 10 years of not fighting and whooped ass. So he was a pretty incredible man and a very, very cool character. Very beloved by Americans and his family and stuff. And it's interesting because when I was working at the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, we had Hulk Hogan on, and me and Hulk were kind of chatting as I was walking him to stage to do his interview with Jimmy. And he told me that the George Foreman grill was supposed to be his. He said they presented it to him and said, hey, you want to hawk this, this grill and see if you can make some money and blah, blah, blah. And Hulk Hogan said he thought it was a bad idea, so he didn't do it. But you know what? George Foreman did. And guess what? George Foreman made a lot of money from the George Foreman grill. Every one of us had one of those things. The little one, the big one, the grease would drip down the trap. For me being single at the time, I cooked everything in that George Foreman grill. So God bless you, George. Passed away, I think, this week. And I just wanted to share that and say rest in peace, our good friend, George Foreman. Hey, I'm glad we were able to get a podcast off this week. It was kind of rough yesterday. My voice is cracking. I had this allergy thing going on. We got more fun stuff coming up with Cousin Matto. I've got a couple other guests that are going to be coming on as well. My mother-in-law went back home. She was here visiting. Her episode got a lot of views. She was hilarious. But here's what we're going to do. She's coming back because I have a little link I'm going to send her, just like I do to Cousin Matto in Sacramento, and we're going to have mom-in-law Gloria Wagner back on here again because, first of all, my mother-in-law is hilarious, and second of all, I love doing it with her. So all that to look forward to and more. This is episode 28 of We Need to Talk About This. I'm your host, Chuck Oliveris, and guess what? We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.